What if Roserade was in Gen 1 OU? I'm kind of surprised people wanted this one. Not because Roserade is a cool Pokemon, isn't a cool Pokemon, because I definitely think it is. It's probably one of my favorite Pokemon on Cynthia's team. But I didn't really think people would be that interested in a grass poison type. We already have plenty of those in Gen 1, and Venusaur's already pretty good. Victory Bell is a little bit less than good, I would say. But to be honest, after I made the replays, it suddenly clicked why Roserade would be so popular. Because Roserade is the bulkiest of them specially. It's the fastest, and has by far the highest special attack at 125. That's really good. And with Razor Leaf, it's going to be hitting a lot harder than other Razor Leaf users I previously gone over, such as Abomasnow, and who else did I recently go over? I think it was Sawsbuck that also had Razor Leaf. Or not Sawsbuck. Alright, it doesn't matter. The point is, Roserade is pretty good. It actually has a pretty wide move pool. So, outside of the stats I already went over, the only other one that's kind of relevant is attack, because it has Sword Stance with the normal type moves. So it has Hyper Beam, as well as Body Slam and Double Edge. Other things it has is Growth and Mega Drain, Toxic, Leech Seed, Stun Spore. But I feel like this moveset here is probably the best. Because even if something's already put to sleep, Roserade is still pretty good because of just how hard it hits with Razor Leaf. There are very few things that actually want to switch into it, and everything fears sleep. So Roserade has a pretty good thing going. Is it better than Executor? No, not even close, really. But it's still something you need to look out for. It can win a lot of things 1v1, even some things you wouldn't expect it to win. So let's get into the replays, shall we? Starting off with the boy himself, Tauros. And Tauros has Blizzard. To be honest, I almost feel like maybe Body Slam into Hyper Beam is better. Because Razor Leaf, as you see, does some really good damage, being a 2-hit KO. That alone is huge. But what's even better is that without a crit, Blizzard, it's only a 3-hit KO. So Roserade doesn't even need to put Tauros to sleep. Without it, it most likely can win the 1v1. Obviously, Tauros has a better crit rate, but I don't think if you're the Tauros player, I don't think you risk it. I think Tauros is just too valuable. At least in my opinion. And Starlox isn't much better. The actual moveset doesn't really matter, because Roserade obviously outspeeds. So just threatening with sleep alone is already terrifying. But look there. Razor Leaf is a 3-hit KO. Not a 4-hit KO like many other Pokemon of Razor Leaf I've covered. That is so threatening towards Snorlax. It means Amnesialax can never set up, because if it goes for an Amnesia and then goes for the Ice Beam, not only are you probably surviving a +2, but even if you didn't, that Snorlax has already taken way too much damage, so it's probably gonna die. So Roserade, I'm gonna argue, has a pretty good matchup against Chansey. Or not Chansey, Snorlax. Chansey, for Chansey, really depends on if you have a Pokemon that's asleep or not. Without it, it's probably gonna lose the Ice Beam. But luckily, if it's faster and can put Chansey to sleep, it can set up those Hyper Beams and then be able to kill Chansey. Theoretically, I'm sure with Body Slam, you could probably not Oko, but you might argue it doesn't matter because if it's asleep, you can just boost up and just 2-shot it anyways. And I'm sure that's true. But the way I see it, I feel like you'd rather go for Hyper Beam because for the things that Razor Leaf can't handle, minus a Gengar, I feel like you'd rather just have that raw power. Just a high base attack move along with just as high attack as you can. But you can disagree with me with that all you want. A dual setter with Stun Spore is also equally as good, I would say. And then Zam is just bad. Razor Wave wasn't going to do much in the first place, but you don't even risk it or a Sweet Powder because of just how good Zam's crit rate is. And Cloyster is the exact opposite. Obviously, you do great against it. Was there really ever any doubt? I'm going through these really quickly, I'm noticing. There's not much really talk about the Executor here, or for just most of these, because Roserade is just very straightforward. You put it into sleep, or you don't. Razor Wave hits really hard, or it doesn't. So that's probably the reason why I managed to make the replay super quickly, and why we're going through them like really fast right now. Because for the most part, it's just, does Razor Wave do a good job? Because like Gengar here, not really. Gengar resists Razor Wave and is immune to Hyper Beam or any normal move. So Roserade literally can't do anything. Moving on. And since I know some of you sick freaks want to see this, because of the poison type, Roserade is quad weak to Pin Missile. But no, I don't not care. I don't care what you're seeing on screen. I refuse. I repeat, I refuse to acknowledge that Roserade makes Pin Missile Jolteon relevant. So you better shut your trap hole. Because we're not going to discuss Pin Missile being good. I would rather talk about Roserade versus Jinx, because even though there's nothing to talk about, because Jinx dominates, I'd still rather that than acknowledge Pin Missile existing. And yes, Roserade does technically get Pin Missile, but we're not talking about that either, okay? Got it, Buckaroo? Let's talk about Rhydon instead, because unfortunately, Hyper Beam doesn't do anything, and Mega Horn is quad super effective. So unfortunately, I think we just have to acknowledge that the matchup against Rhydon is just unwinnable. Mega Horn is definitely a move you can use in Gen 1, and Rhydon will always win with that. Also, if I said Rhyhorn, I think I might have. I apologize if I did. Swellbird, there's not much to talk about here either. I said that very quickly. There's not much to talk about here either. Because, like, what do you expect? Does Swellbird even bother with Paralysis? I'm not sure if it does. Luckily, this next one's really interesting. Because Starmie, as you can imagine, takes a heck of a lot of damage from Razor Leaf. But at the same time, Blizzard is always a 2-hit KO. You don't even need Stab Psychic. So you kind of need not Razor Leaf. You need Sweet Powder to guarantee a win. But even then, as you see there, Starmie woke up anyways and managed to kill. So this match completely depends on if they've taken chip damage, if one of them's paralyzed, or a Blizzard or a Razor Leaf miss. Because both moves are mostly accurate, but they do have a chance of missing, which does make the matchup kind of annoying. And last but not least, we got Zapdos. And unfortunately, there's not much Roserade can really do here. Drill Peck does a lot of damage, and you resist, Razor Leaf. So Roserade just gets taken out really easily. Now here is the tier list. I think I'm going to move Tauros to good, which technically isn't really true, since Body Slams, Crits, Paralysis, Hyper Beam, all of that stuff kind of destroys Roserade. But I think just the threat of a 2-hit KO just in of itself means that Tauros will always fear you no matter what, and it's almost never worth actually fighting the Roserade. And if you're fortunate Tauros to switch out, that sounds like a good matchup to me. What do you think? Do you think that Roserade would be really good in Gen 1 OU? Or do you think it would suffer the same fate as the other grass poison types and just fall off? Because Victreebel used to be OU, and Venusaur has some uses in OU, but it's not in the tier itself. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I apologize for this video seeming really fast. I'll be honest, this is a last minute video, because I was going to make a Generation Jumble video today, but it just... I don't know how to say this. Schedules were just not working out, and some people were just... It just wasn't working out. That's all I need to say. I don't know when it's going to come out. We're going to have to try again some other day. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday or Tuesday, who knows. But until then, this is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.